Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In today's video I'll be showing you how I built the ATM and the restrooms from RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. So both were quite difficult and easy at the same time, that's why they're both in this video. So I'll show you how I built both of them, and let's just get into the time lapse. So the first things first is the ATM machine. So the ATM machine is by far one of my favorite little builds, or actually my favorite, I think, stall from RCT. Because I find it like adorable and pretty convincing that it's a bank safe that houses peeps' money and they have to walk up to it and receive it. So I found that the most entertaining one, and again the little sprite that's on the menu when you want to build it is quite also great too, because it has like extended bricks walls that extend from it. And I'll always like that little sprite of how to maybe decorate it yourself or decorate it a little bit more in RCT. But I don't know, I've always found that really cool. So here I've decided to do brick wall to simulate that it's a brick building, and then some brick detailing on the corner to give it that more stone structure look, and then a simple square in the back shape to simulate the steel safe that the money is sitting in. There was going to be a brick wall in the front to give it that more brick thing, but then I think the brick wall actually disconnects the ATM from the path. This model in particular is probably not the best for gameplay because it only has one side for ATM when Parkitect has 4 sides when you put it down on a path. So again, this is just more aesthetics than ever, but I think it does portray what it's supposed to be, a bank. It houses money and for your peeps. I do like that the one from in-game kind of represents like a real ATM machine, which is pretty nice. Oh, I mean, the other challenge was trying to also cover up the green umbrella that the ATM machine produces. So that was kind of a challenge because I didn't think about that when I placed it down. Here are some simple lug nuts of something to represent the steel safe. The colors you see here are pretty close to the sprite's color hex or hex code, so it's pretty nice that I can take that from the game and make it more closer to the actual product of the sprite. Again, the sprite itself doesn't show a lot of details, and the challenges when building these stalls was to take it and try to imagine what they are and figure out what materials they were using. Like for example, with the restroom right here, the roof had a couple different renditions, because first I wanted that texture look with the roof, so I used the medieval roof, but doing an overhang for it had this one solid side where the borders wouldn't cover it up. I would have to put a wall in, and that kind of distracts from simulating that it's a hanging roof. So I went from doing the medieval roofing to just a normal roof, but then doing that I lost the texture for it. So again, the build doesn't look complicated from afar, but there's more complications to it as I built on it, and I wanted to get close to the realism of that sprite. So it was a kind of a mix of mixing up, like making it up as I go, and also to try to keep close to the original sprite. So the roofing got an overhang, but only onto one side, because I think the overhang makes more sense to be over the pathway, or the not the pathway. Well, it is over the pathway, but over the doorway. And then I made a closer doorway to kind of hide the restroom that's already in it. I didn't use a regular doorway. I made shapes and kind of close them together, and then walls on the sides. So realistically, if you wanted to put 2 restrooms next to each other, you could, like the real game. But again, all the stalls in Parkitect and RollerCoaster Tycoon are smaller than a grid space, so that's why they can sit next to each other and they don't clip through each other. But when I'm making a aesthetic for it to make it look like RollerCoaster Tycoon, I am also breaking a little bit of a boundary of I'm putting these walls exactly on the edge of the square space, so it's kind of gonna be wonky when you want to place two or more next to each other, but you could if you really wanted to. But so because again with the roof, I'm gonna bring up, I switched it, so I had to do some new texture work for it. So I just did some borders with Construction Anarchy, placed it by hand, very like accurately, and then I made the roof have a texture, and I think that actually pulled out better than I thought it would. So that was a pretty interesting challenge to go with, because I could have easily done the cop out by just doing the medieval roof. But depending on the pieces you use, it changes the way the building looks and the decision making that I make for those pieces. So here are the final product, the ATM and the restroom for RollerCoaster Tycoon. I did have a lot of fun making this, and they are both on the workshop, so go check them out. I'm going to let you go, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.